No, 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 no. Just no, no, mm-mm, mm-mm, no. Just no, no. I don't care how good this episode was. I am not getting my hopes up for the next two episodes, and I am not going to change my mind about the rest of the season. One good episode does not improve the rest of the series. Welcome to the Rider Time Podcast. Here on the Morphin Network, I'm Mike, your host, and we are here to discuss the one and only Kamen Rider Gotchard, episode 48. Say goodbye at Twilight. And boy, would I like to say goodbye to this season as a whole. But the thing is, we still have 2 more weeks to go, 2 more episodes to go. And yes, I did like this episode, but again, much like past episodes, this episode would have worked better if it was done way earlier. Way earlier. Like, we're taking your sweet time. And we find out in the trailer for the next episode that even Valvored's going to get a file form in the second to last episode. And I'm going to say right now, let's be honest, he's going to use it to defeat Gigist. But, because, like, Black Flames, they just dropped the Black Flame thing last episode. See, previous episode, the one where Spanner had an actual heel turn, the one where he fights Hotaro, the one where he plans to use his Black Flames, that would have been the perfect opportunity for him to use his new final form. But instead, he just gets whooped and he just quits. He just quits. He's found in Fua's laboratory, unconscious. Okay, that's it. It's done. Like, why? And even as I was watching this episode, this not the previous episode, this episode right here, all I could think about is, are you guys still forgetting the whole Philosopher's Stone thing? Are you still forgetting about the Kamedon thing? Are we still forgetting about Hotaro's dad? Are we gonna address any of those things in these next few episodes? We do know that we had a cliffhanger where it's revealed that Rene and Atropos were based on the same person, which means Atropos is not really 3,000 years old like she was supposed to be, and even hinted of being. No, Atropos is actually only 10 years old. And I'm not just talking about the actress, I'm talking about the actual character has existed for only 10 years. I can only assume the other two characters also existed for only 10 years. As Atropos is still the eldest of 3 sisters. Doesn't act like it, but she is. I honestly, at this point, I've given up on the Hades sisters. They were honestly the best villains throughout the first arc, but now it's like, why are they even there? Why is Lachesis even there? Even as a good guy, she doesn't do anything. Why is Clotho even there? She keeps like switching sides from one villain to the next villain, but also doesn't really do much about it either. What are we gonna do with Clotho? What are we gonna do with Lachesis? We know what we did with Atropos, and we're gonna get into it. But I will say this: at least they finally addressed something that I've been waiting for them to address for a dozen episodes, and waited until now to bring it up, and barely even brought it up to begin with. Let's just get it all out of the way. Yes. Rene is the original human that Atropos is based on, and basically Galea plans to fuse them together into a chimera that will destroy the entire world. They didn't really explain how and why, they just did. And honestly, if you could just do that with any of the 3 Hades sisters, Why not just combine Lachesis with her counterpart? Why not combine Clotho with her counterpart? Who even are their counterparts? We know that Lachesis is based on some idol girl, but who is Clotho based on? That's what I want to know. I mean, it would have been interesting if they were all based on like main characters that we've seen before. Like what if one of them was based on Rengen and another one was based on, frankly, the only other female character available, Sensei. But no, like we don't know who Clotho was based on, and I am pressed to find out who it will be in the remaining 2 episodes of the show. But okay, so Grayon and Fuma, who are both still alive, they decide to work together. And also, I get that Grayon created Atropos because he was jealous of the father-daughter relationship between Fuma and Rine, but there's like other stuff that begs to be asked. Like they did mention that Grayon's a doll. Who is he a doll of? Is he Fuma's clone? Because that would make sense. That would make a lot of sense. I don't think they're gonna address it. Oh, or maybe Grayon could be Hotaro's father's clone. Who knows? I don't think they're gonna address it. I'm gonna be pressed. I mean, I don't think it would be Hotaro's dad because one, it'd be too good of a twist, and two, don't you think that they would somehow recognize that that Grayon would kind of look like Hotaro's dad? I mean, Atropos does kind of look like Rine as a little girl, and I can respect other people not bringing it up because a lot of the other characters probably have never seen what Rine looked like as a child anyways. The only other person who probably did was Fuma, and he was MIA for most of the series. So naturally, that would be something that makes a lot of sense. Oh, and to quick aside, yes, I'm wearing my 2014 Power Morphicon t-shirt because Power Morphicon is in 9 days, and I can't wait. I can't wait to do it. So I'm just going to be wearing Morphicon shirts for probably the remainder of the week and a half. So I hope you guys are excited. August 23rd to the 25th, Pasadena Convention Center. I'll be there. The rest of the Morphin Squad will be there. We're going to be doing a lot of cool stuff. And there's so many actors. There's so many actors. Even Hina Gwen's going to be there. I love the WAC Masters. But back to the actual story. Yeah, so basically in their attempt to rescue Rine and Atropos, they basically end up being trapped in a mirror dimension. So they're in the same place as Ultraman Arc. And Galea basically like transmutes. I hate the fact that they use the word alchemize. Like I prefer the word transmute. It's what alchemy does. It's transmutation. You're changing the shape of things. So they transmute the 2 alchemy rings into a gun and a bullet. So they're going to play Russian roulette. And I'm like, you're playing Russian roulette on a kid's show? I mean, I get that, like, in Kamen Rider, we've seen people get shot. We've seen people get poisoned, die. We discussed themes of, well, I'm not going to go into some of the themes discussed, like adultery. I'm looking at you, Keitaro from Kamen Rider 5. But freaking Russian roulette, because that's not just unaliving characters, that's self-unaliving characters. Because if you have ever known how to play Russian roulette, I'm not going to explain it to you. Just watch Gotham Season 2. What is the key to comedy? Timing. What is courage? Grace under pressure. Who's the boss? I'm the boss. Anywho, so as they take turns, well, actually, you know what? They they weren't actually aiming at themselves, or actually aiming at each other. So that's one of two ways you play Russian roulette, just not the way that people usually play it. But yes, no, they go full Yami no Game from Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monster Season 2. Personally, I like Yami no Game from Season 0 because that's the true Yami no Game. And as they take turns to give exposition as to, like, why did you do this? I did it for this reason. I'm sorry that I made you feel this way, but I have to blah, 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 blah. And Galea's like, will the two of you just finally shut the heck up and kill each other already? But thankfully, but thankfully, even though Nijigon could not break through the mirror, Hotaru finds another way in, because rules are very specific. Only things that are needed for this duel are allowed in this dimension. And what is something you need in a Russian roulette duel? A galvanized union of nations. That's right. Shadow the Hedgehog reference for no reason. But yes, Hotaru turns into the government organization from Shadow the Hedgehog, because if he won't, who else will? And thankfully, it misfires for funsies. So basically, it completely undoes the spell, and they're out in a quarry. And yeah, we have like a Frozen moment where it's like, Daddy, you saved me. But of course, Daddy, why? Silly child, don't you know? I never loved you. I never loved you. I'm like, you didn't just pull a Frozen. You pulled a Frozen. You did it the exact way Hans did it to Anna? See, I've only watched Frozen once, so like I don't even remember Kristen Bell's character's name. I'm assuming her name's Anna. Like what Hans? What is it with this movie where like I remember the name of the villain but not the main character? And no, the main character isn't Elsa. It's her sister, played by Kristen Bell. Yeah, he pulls a Hans, like he does a whole fake out where it's like, "Aw, sweetie, I never loved you. You're just a tool for me, a means to an end." So it turns out he just like Galea, he wants to turn them into a chimera, except he wanted the chimera to turn everything into gold. I'm like, bro, can you please stop the stupid Midas plot? Like seriously, I am. This is the reason why Grayon is my least favorite villain in this season. Is he my least? Like, how does he stack up against villains from other seasons? I don't want to think about it, because Kamen Rider Ghost had pretty boring villains as well. But at least with Kamen Rider Ghost, there were at least some continuous arcs that were at least interesting. But like, Grayon, stop it with this gold obsession. Who do you think you are? Mike Myers from Austin Powers 3. This gold, this side of gold, baby. He's got the Midas touch, but he touched too much. Jeez, he is Grayon. God damn it. I'm really tired of this guy. But yeah, you know, Galea, like, freaking Rene tries to save Atropos by fighting off Galea, but Galea can predict all of her movements. But then she uses what little energy Atropos has left. Like, I just wanted to be your friend, Rene. But then they have the power of light and darkness and use them together. And yes, insert the Kamen Riders build theme song. Be the one, all right. Da, 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 da. Be the light. We'll take darkness into brightness, yeah. Leading you into the light. Be the light. Yeah, no. Kamen Rider Build was a better season. We reviewed it on the archive. You can go watch that. The archive, like, Kamen Rider Build was a better season. Even if the VSNX films ruined the season as a whole, at least the actual 49 episode of the show on TV was actually pretty good, all things considered. But this, like, why? Like, it's like, you just can't give us just one moment of not having to remember a much better season of Kamen Rider, can't you? But yes, Power of Light, Power of Darkness, we got Twilight Unicorn, Twilight Sun, and yes, insert references to Usum. Actually, I have Usum right here. If it wasn't a blatant reference to Pokemon Usum, I don't know what is. That's right. Sun, unicorn, light, darkness, lake, up. And yeah, let's talk about that new form. It's not terrible. I don't hate it. I do find it interesting that there are certain black parts of the helmet that kind of look like Atropos' hairdo. Don't know if it's intentional or not, but it's all right. I'm not a fan of those little black drapes that connect from her back to her wrists. I feel like that's a little overdoing it. Maybe if they weren't connected, or maybe if she just had full-blown sleeves, it would have looked better. It's just this one detail is a singular part that I'm just not a fan of for this form. But hey, we have a final form. We actually have a final form. And okay, we're going to address it one more time. Female Kamen Riders are usually screwed out of having final forms, etc. First of all, we rarely have female Kamen Riders in the main series. And when we do, they're usually very minor. They're not even in the main, secondary, tertiary trio. The first one to actually join the trio was Valkyrie. She never had a final form. Then we had Jean, who I argue should have been the first female second rider. She did get a final form, but it wasn't until what I consider to be the final episode, because the last 4 episodes were fillers. I stand by that. But it's like you literally get it the last episode with the main antagonist. So now we have someone who is verifiably the first female second rider. This is official. This isn't like fan logic like me with Jean. This is in the actual Kamen Rider handbook. And I was getting really worried that she wasn't going to get her final form, specifically because it's like, even as the second rider, like her base form, you have to get the main riders built and then add this big attachment that you have to get with Bandai Premium. So already from jump, toy-wise, Majade was already at a horrible marketing disadvantage. But now that we have that final form, it took forever. And I would have been really upset. Like this isn't like a red pill versus blue pill political discussion thing. It just in general, as just an eclectic, as a Jolene Cujo fan, as a Genkai fan, I was gonna get really upset if Majade did not get a final form during the main series, or even if she waited until the very, very last episode to get her final form, because it took us so long to get a proper second writer that was female. It took us a long time to get a tertiary writer, but now we finally have a second writer. And imagine what kind of an insult it would be if she did not have a final form. Thankfully, she does. It's not the last episode, but it still bothers me that it took this long. Maybe if she had that form around episode 37, 40, 42, even 45, I would have no issues with it, because you got to pace this thing out. But then next episode, we're going to have to deal with the fact that, Valvarette is also getting a final form. Very next episode. So no room to breathe. And the timing couldn't be worse, because not only is it the second to last episode, but also we had a focus episode for Spanner, just like right for him to use that final form, and he didn't even use it. Now it just feels out of left field. So, because you have two minds working as one, basically do the mind shuffle technique from Yu-Gi-Oh! When they fought against Pegasus. Yes, more Yu-Gi-Oh! References. This is a very Yu-Gi-Oh! Reference heavy episode of Kamen Rider Gotchard. And yes, they defeat Galea because she couldn't predict her movements. And of course, she is reconstructed as a Philosopher's Stone. I'm like, oh my god, a Philosopher's Stone. I remember when we mentioned that like 10 episodes ago and then never brought it up again. And of course, Gigas absorbs it. It's like, we'll never forgive you, Greyon. Yeah, well, I will forgive him because he gave me a piece of the Philosopher's Stone. Remember when we were talking about that before? Oh, yeah. Way to bring it up last minute. I'm so disappointed with this season. Yeah, like, again, why did we just put off the Philosopher's Stone into the back burner up until this very last moment? Again, this is not a bad episode. It's just a lot of episodes beforehand sabotaged it. And yeah, so yeah, evil schemes are afoot. And of course, the two bad guys disappear. Atropos is dead, leaving Clotho to be confused, wondering what to do next. And we're going to move on to the next episode. This episode gets a 9 out of 10 because it was well paced. I love what happened in the episode, but it is severely hindered by things from previous episodes. And yeah, I just want the season to end already because, again, sporadically inserting good episodes in an otherwise terrible season will not improve the season as a whole. It's like making a bunch of bad MCU movies and then sprinkling in Deadpool last minute just to create the illusion that the entire phase was good. Honestly, though, nothing can recapture the magic of phase 1 of MCU, but yeah, I would just rather focus on watching Fies. We only have 9 more episodes to watch, 2 movies. Oh, and I'm watching O-Ranger. I'm about a third into it, so yeah. Okay, let's go to the comments, see what you guys have to say. Oh, wow, Russian roulette on a kid's show. Just wow. I know, I'm just as surprised as you are. Did they seriously just rip off the twist from Frozen? They absolutely ripped off the twist from Frozen. They didn't even do a good job of it, and frankly, I even saw it coming way back, like 20 episodes ago. I'd like to see some of the stuff from this episode if they just didn't wait for the last 3 episodes. Dude, I totally agree with you, dude. I'm just going to take a cue from Kabuto's playbook and make my own prediction. Silver Valoride will fight against Gigas and defeat him, leaving Greyon as the final villain in the final episode. Honestly, I don't think you have to be that good at predicting just to figure it out because I'm not trying to downplay your attempt to predict it. Like, honestly, it is a valid conclusion for you to make. I'm just saying that the show is so predictable that, honestly, just anyone could have figured that one out. But if either of us is proven wrong, okay, I don't care what happens to Lachesis and Clotho at this point. They can both live or die for all I care. I just want the season to finally end. I know. Oh, man. I'm just tired of Gotchard. Squandered potential. A lot of squandered potential. I don't know how he got it in. Yeah. Again, honestly, I'm more interested in how he was able to swap with the real gun. I like the form, but I don't like how the cards look. But then again, they remind me of Shining Gotchard's cards. I'm going to stand by this. It's a ripoff of Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. Let's be honest. It's literally awesome. Oh, there's Gigas, and he got his precious stone back. Except Grant has one too. Yes, we have. You know what has a similar premise but better? Maji. if you've ever watched, if you've never seen the anime Maji, it's really good. Basically, there's three wise men that are supposed to predict. They're supposed to nurture great kings, and there's supposed to be only three of them, right? But there's a fourth one. Why is there a fourth one? How did this happen? This could create a disturbance in the balance of the Ruch, which is the power system of the series. This could have been a Kamen Rider version of that, because now you have four kings instead of three. Gigist, Germain, Galea, and Grayon. They all have G in their name, the four Gs. But yeah, it feels really squandered. Does this form debut better than Evil T Live? That's a good question. The obtaining of the form is better. The pacing is worse. That's the difference. Evil T Live had better. Evil T Live had better pacing in terms of the series as a whole, but it felt more of a cop-out compared to Twilight Majade. So, take it for how you will. Next, but I love that you drew the parallels in that, because I myself noticed that. Next new form for Spanner, will Akisis go bye-bye in the key to his final form? Yeah, that's right. Because she's the middle sister. Yeah, I mean, it does seem appropriate that would be the case. Now, given, it's funny is because with the expectation that it would be Clotho, then Lachesis, then Atropos, I always imagined that Clotho would sacrifice herself to save Lachesis. But since Atropos died first, I'm guessing that what they're going to do is have Lachesis die to save Clotho. So basically, the same thing is happening, just swapped who's doing what, because of the question of whether Atropos dies first or last. But in both cases, Lachesis has to die second. Meanwhile, Clotho's still around, doing absolutely nothing, mind you. Did you watch the GAF presentations? It's not a press con. I know. Spanner will return to his rank back to 0. Yeah, he probably will. Okay. Ooh, Luffy Zoro. That's a new user. Imagine being pitted between because of a reference for properties that ain't even American. Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh are Japan's properties, so they can do whatever they want. I'm not really sure what this is a reference to, but that ain't even American. Pokemon Yu-Gi-Oh. Honestly, I don't completely understand what you're trying to refer to. If you could clarify, that would help a little bit. Anthony Minter, good season, go by so quickly, but seasons like Gotchard feels like the longest. I know, it's like that clock from Harry Potter 6, where it's like, oh, it moves faster if you're having a bad time, but if you're having a good time, it goes slower. Or is it the other way around? I don't remember. But you're right, though. Gotchard feels like it took forever, while Geats felt like it just came and went like nothing. Heck, even Kamen Rider Saber, which is probably the most middling of the 5 seasons we have so far, felt like it just came and went fast because there were things to enjoy about it. But this, god damn it, man. Okay, to be fair, Revives felt forever more because we had to do that annoying hiatus, the great hiatus of 2022. But once we got back in the game, we went through it nice and fast. But the thing about this is Gotchard, there's no hiatus. We just went through it all the way through. And we didn't even take a break week other than the obligatory Christmas break. We just had like every single day. Like, didn't even take time off for Japanese baseball like they do every year. That's the crazy part. So yeah, this season felt like forever. But hey, you know what? It could have been worse. The longest season of Kamen Rider is 98 episodes. The second longest is 54 episodes. That's already a huge gap. 44 episodes gap. Third place, 53 episodes with Ghost. Ghost has, let that sink in. Ghost, which is one of the most boring seasons of the Heisei era, had the third longest episode run out of every season of the show in the last 53 years. Let that sink in for a minute. But you're right. As bad as Ghost is, as bad as Revice is, Gotchard felt like it just took forever. But we have... Oh, yeah, that's right. I messed up. Wizard was the one with 53 episodes, not Ghost. My apologies. You got me there. Wizard had 53 episodes. Ghost had 50. You're right. But Wizard, it had some good moments. It just meandered in the last quarter. Like, the first 3 quarters was actually not bad. I followed along to it. I did have to binge watch it because I was busy with college, but Wizard wasn't bad. Wizard was not bad. But those last 2 episodes were kind of weird. Like, we have a decade focus episode. Really? Like, what's up with that? But let's get to the part where you guys really came here for. Let's get to the part that you really came for. We all know what you want, what you really want. I'll tell you what you want, what you really want. What you really, really zigzag is none other than the Kamen Rider Gavu trailer. Yes. It's that time of year. There's supposed to be a press conference. We didn't get a proper press conference. We just got an extended trailer. So we'll just discuss the trailer. Fortunately, this will be the first time where we do it without screenshots because Facebook is being a jerk face. But so we're just going to play this by ear. I like the trailer. It wasn't too bad. Main character's an alien. I like the costume design. It feels kind of reminiscent of Kamen Rider Zero One's costume, but with more angular components, while other parts seem a little bit more rounded. So it's kind of like a trade-off. Instead of having rounded shoulders with an angular face, he has a rounded face with angular shoulders. I like that he's purple. We haven't had a purple main rider in a while. I think the last one we had was Hibiki. So that's fun. I do like how he can construct his fist or foot into a giant gummy. I think that's funny. It kind of reminds me of sock and boppers from the 90s. Sock and boppers, more fun than the pillow fight. Blow them up, put your hand inside, get ready to have some tooth cavities. But yeah, so moving, but yeah, no, I like that concept. So the main character is an alien with a sweet tooth for human snacks. Lots and lots of junk food. I'm really concerned that the diabetes rate in Japan is going to start to go up because of the season. I'm going to be honest though. One change in Power Rangers Beast Morphers that I actually did like is the fact that Zoe, instead of eating candy, she eats carrots. Because one, rabbit motif, it fits the rabbit motif, but also because carrots actually do give you real energy, not just a sugar rush. So I actually like how in more than one way it actually improved from Go Busters. And that's not something I would easily say because, actually, I didn't really put much thought into which I liked better between Go Busters and Beast Morphers. Honestly, they both have things I like and both things I didn't like. Let's just call it apples and oranges and call it a day. Um, let's see. So the second writer is a journalist, so I like to think that it is a nod to Hayato Ichimonji, and he becomes the second writer. He becomes Kamen Rider Valen, which is a reference to Valentine. I like that, and he's a chocolate motif because you get chocolates on Valentine's. I like that. And of course, his little gimmick toys look like little poppy monsters, and like his forms take the form of gummy bears, potato chips, marshmallows, chocolate, and he has a like semi exosuit form based on hard lollipop candy. I mean, using hard candy for that form, I actually think that's pretty clever. I think that's actually pretty clever. I don't know what they're gonna do about the chocolate thing because of the fact that a second writer uses that as main form, and the main writer uses it as a side form. Because even in Kamen Rider Ghost, you know, like you have Spectre using Nobunaga and Tutankhamun. You don't really see Takeru use either of those two icons for his base or Tokon form, for that matter. Now, we do know that Spectre does use Edison, but that's because he stole Edison from Takeru. So that makes me wonder, like, what is the relationship between these two main characters and the chocolate form? I do find it interesting that the potato chips uses swords. The marshmallow has like this. Basically, it kind of looks like he summons balloons that let him to like allow him to levitate. It's like, I get it, light and fluffy, but it's still sugar. It's very dense. Like, I don't think it's the best thing to use. Now, if you use cotton candy, though, then you could be like, so let's talk about. So there's a little kid in the main cast. I don't care about the little kid. Once I watch the episode, I might care more about him. I did not watch it with subtitles. The villains, though. Let's talk about the villains. I really like the villains here. They are the same alien species as the main character, except they own their own candy corporation, which I assume will be used for evil. The monsters of the day kind of give me Baranoia vibes, which I actually appreciate. And also they get the main villains. They kind of give me Kamen Rider Ghost vibes, like the evil family, you know, with Alon and Abel and their sister, forgot her name. Except I hope it'll be better than Ghost. But like it's just the tonality kind of reminds me of Ghost back when I was actually excited for Ghost, when the villains actually looked cool and it wasn't just weird Game of Thrones type of stuff. One thing I appreciate is that the 5 main villains, they're actually siblings. You got an older brother, then an older sister, then a middle brother with glasses. Then you have twins, 1 brother, 1 sister. So you got 3 brothers, 2 sisters in total. And all 5 of them, their names are rendered from the word tongue from different languages, which makes me wonder why there isn't a 6th one named Izik. But, you know, it's okay. We got a Hindi one, a Spanish one, a Hungarian one. You know, I appreciate what they're going for. And apparently they all have different jobs at that evil candy corporation. So I want to see that interaction between them. I'm actually excited for the villains in the season. And I love their designs with the whole black and white thing, especially with the twins, because they're kind of like those 2 guys from that episode of Star Trek where one was black on one side and white on the other, and the other guy was black on that side and white on that side. And like they're both racist against each other, and then like Kirk trying to blow up the spaceship in order to convince them into like making a peace treaty. Yeah, no, it's like I'm actually curious to see how this plays out. And yeah, having snacks as the main thing. I mean, we've seen fruits before, and that worked. So let's see how this plays out. This season airs on September 1st, so that gives us 2 more weeks to finish Kamen Rider Gotchard and then get started on Kamen Rider Gavu. Let's see. Oh, and the motorcycle. It kind of looks like an ATV in the trailer. What I love is that the wheels on the side, they have sort of like a rotary cannon thing going. I like that. You know, it kind of reminds me of Power Rangers Dino Thunder. But that's basically it from the trailer. Let's see what you guys thought. Let's see. I mean, if they refer to Yu-Gi-Oh! Pokemon, it's their right to. I just find it funny that a guy is pissed over this. And for me, is wide better. Let's see. Hey, Gotchard is way better than Saber. Not even start with Ghosts. That was bad. Okay. Okay. So I'm not pissed about them referencing Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't even know if they're intentionally referencing Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm just saying I noticed these similarities, but Yu-Gi-Oh! Did certain things better, is what I'm saying. And again, I like Shadow games from the original Season 0 Yu-Gi-Oh! Better than Duel Monsters Yu-Gi-Oh! I like Season 0 better. I'm sorry if you don't agree with me, but I like the idea of the king of games being the king of all games and not just one card game plus 2 spin-offs. That's just my point. And you're entitled to your opinion. You're welcome to like Gotchard more than Saber. I'm not saying my opinion is objective, but at least we agree that Ghost was pretty bad. But I have to say I like some parts of Ghost better than other, but even then I have to say I'd rather rewatch Ghost than rewatch Gotchard. That's just my opinion. You're welcome to it. Okay. We have 5 villains now? Absolutely. Evil twins are back, except one is a dude. Hey, there's nothing wrong with being a male and female twin. I mean, we have Game of Thrones, as long as they don't do Game of Thrones type of stuff. Back to the secondaries being mentioned, mentors to the main character. Are they? We'll see. Yeah, the show will get canceled due to diabetes reports. Yeah, I my heart still goes out to Porygon from Pokemon. I like how he takes a bite on chocolate gun to shape it. Okay, I agree with you on this one. That is actually pretty fun. I hope they don't ship Valen and the lady with the scythe. Oh God, please no. Okay. Even with Gotchard, I'm not a fan of them shipping the freaking Spanner with Lachesis because they have no on-screen chemistry. They just don't. Just because she became Valvared one time, it doesn't mean that he has a regular bike, but the ATV is just CGI. Yeah. Yeah. I like that clip where it goes like up the building while like the wheels are like rotating barrels and shooting at that bull thing. But yeah, I think that's it for the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to stay safe, stay hydrated, update your emergency kits, hug your loved ones. And also remember to like and subscribe to us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Ding the bell icon to stay notified for our latest videos. Share our videos because it helps us out with the algorithms. And if you want to say hi to us in person, we will be at Power Morphicon on the 23rd through the 25th at Pasadena Convention Center. Also, we do all kinds of tokusatsu. We do Ultraman Arc on Mondays, Kamen Rider Gotchard on Wednesdays, Bakuage Sentai Boom Boom Jar on Thursdays, and where you do Kamen Rider Fies on Sundays. Now, next week, the week of Morphicon, we will change the date of Kamen Rider Fies in order to accommodate the fact that we will be at the convention on Sunday, and many of you probably will be as well. But Ultraman on the first week of September will be on September 3rd instead of the second, because on our sister channel, The Buttery Show, we do various movie reviews. We've done the Crow films, we've done the Shrek films, we've done Naked Gun, we've done Wolverine and Deadpool. We did a bunch of movies from the 90s that you probably have never heard of. And this September, we're going to be doing 6 films based on awesome films with lackluster sequels. What are those 6 movies? What are these 3 films with their 3 lackluster sequels? You're going to have to wait and find out. I hope to keep you guys guessing. But the first film that we are going to be reviewing will be on September 2nd. So stick around for that. And if you want to follow my personal content, we are on Instagram at Boken_Kabuto and on Twitch at twitch.tv/BokenKabuto. And with all that said, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe, stay hydrated, update emergency kits, hug your loved ones. Make sure you don't eat too much candy out there and eat plenty of carrots because diabetes ain't fun. But what is fun is seeing you guys next time. Goodbye.